Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ad America. My name is Ara, and I am one of the e-guides here in Ad America. I hope that every one of you is staying safe and healthy this evening. And if you're new here, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for Indonesians to learn more about the United States. So, this evening, our event is called Explore Your Scholarship Opportunities to Study in the United States. But before we start our event, let's spice things up with a little trivia question. Our trivia question for today is it true or false? A merit-based scholarship is earned by having come from a certain background. Stay tuned until the end of this event because we will be giving a live shout out for those who can answer the question correctly on our social media platforms. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag Adamarica's Instagram account. And now, without further ado, let's give the warmest welcome to our lovely speaker for today's event. And she is Adamarica's very own Education USA advisor, Santika Salim. Santika, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ara. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our first hybrid event after the reopening of Ad America. I am so happy to see all of you here today in front of the stage, sitting here just back to normal, this time with masks because we still need to be very safe, right? So I also welcome all of you who are joining us online. We are, this is called hybrid because we are still doing it online. My colleague Christina will be in the Zoom chat box if you have any questions that can be passed to me during the Q&A later. So if you're watching us online, not in person like this, still feel free to ask questions, and our social media team will pass it to me and Christina here. So we will do our best to answer all of the questions that's coming in, both in person and online. So yes, thank you again for joining me today, putting effort, to come in here with all of the new procedures. And today I will give you guys a very general explanations on scholarship opportunities to study to the United States. So, and if you are interested with our Education USA events, that means you have interest to go to the States to study, right? All right, so without further ado, I will start with the introduction of Education USA. If you're new here, if you're new with Education USA and Ad America, with our whole space here, then I want to tell you that Education USA is a U.S. Department of State network over 170 countries of 400 international student advising centers. So we are all over the world, and we have more than 400 centers in total. But in Indonesia alone, I will tell you how many centers are here. And our network promotes the U.S. higher education system and whatever you need in order for you to go to the United States to study and get the higher degree and higher educations there. Okay? All right, so like I said, in Indonesia alone, we have 6 centers with a total of 7 advisors. And if you can see, the first one here, I put Jakarta in the US Embassy. We have Mas Iqbal there. And moving to the second one, which is here at America Jakarta in Pacific Place Mall, you have me, Santika, and we have Christina here. She's here in front of me, but if you're online, you probably will see her in the Zoom chat box more often. Okay. I'm also actually in the Zoom, but I'm probably not able to answer your question in the Zoom chat box. So Christina will help with that. Okay. So move to Surabaya. We are in Universitas Airlangga Unair. We have Mbak Ambar there. Moving to Malang, we are in Universitas Muhammadiyah with Mas Zaki. And then in Makassar, we are in Universitas Fajar with Cendani. And last but not least, we are also located in Banda Aceh in Universitas Islam Negeri UIN Araniri with Lilis. Okay, so you can actually reach out to whichever center that you feel closest with if you are planning to visit them in person because we are starting to reopen. But of course, I don't have the exact schedule of the reopening of all of the centers here, but you can try to reach out to them if you are based in any of the city here. Okay. Oh, and before I forgot, all of our services are free of charge, and so is all of our events in Education USA and in America. Okay. So if you need an advising session, you can just go directly to our website or to the booking page for the advising session, calendly.com/educationusa AT America. And this is specific to the Education USA at America. So for Education USA centers in Indonesia, not just in at America, you can go to the calendly.com with the same front there, /Education USA, and just change the AT America to Indonesia. Okay? And you can choose all of the advisors in Indonesia there based on what you need and based on your preference or any other things that you see in the profile there. Okay? So just keep in mind to read the instructions, and the in-person advising is back, but with a limited slot still for now. And for the walk-ins, it will come up soon next month. Okay, so stay tuned if you you just want to pop in. If you just happen to be in the area and you wonder if you can talk with me or Christina here, then you can do so next month. Okay, just stay tuned. We will announce it very quickly. Okay, whoa, my bad. Okay. So if you have not found a schedule, you can go to the same link or just scan this one the next day, because every day there will be a new slot open up. So you don't have to kind of like, oh my God, it's full, and I don't have the chance to meet Christina or Santika. You just need to go back the next day and it will be automatically refreshed with the new schedule, okay? And you can also contact us via email, jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. Okay? All right, so you can also see our upcoming events on our atamerica.or.id website with the extension here, Education USA tab, and then you scroll down to the bottom and you can see our events. You can also go to educationusa.state.gov, our official website, for finding contact informations of other Education USA centers in Indonesia, other events too, and we always also update our upcoming events there. So you can definitely find a lot of things on these two pages, okay? And the upcoming one, what I can share for our upcoming events here should be next week. It will be about successful advisees who got accepted to MPA and MPP programs in the United States. I'm very excited for it, so stay tuned. I will be announcing it or blasting it to all of you if you are already in our mailing list. If you have not and you are attending the events in person right now, the link to sign up for the mailing list is there. It's as a QR code too, so you just scan it and then put down your data. We will send you an invitation email for our upcoming events. Okay? All right. If you are joining us online via Zoom or via Zoom, if you register, right, you got the registration page and then join us via Zoom. We already got your email, so rest assured you will receive the invitation. And you can unsubscribe anytime, so no pressure, okay? All right, so we will start with explore your scholarship opportunities to study in the United States. And this shouldn't take very long because I don't go very deep into each of the types of scholarship because everyone have different needs and preference. We give you general idea of what the opportunities looks like, the options, and you can evaluate which one you really need and you really like, and you can come to us for one-on-one tailored advising sessions to talk about the strategy, the pro and cons, if you have further questions, okay? So I have I'm setting this for about 40 minutes so we can have Q&A at the end of the presentation. All right, so talking in mask apparently is not that easy. It's quite challenging, in fact. All right, so I didn't put this in the introduction, which I usually did, because I want to show you that today we will be focusing on the step 2. So all of this step is basically how Education USA and Education USA advisors guide each of the advisees or prospective students 5 steps, and you don't have to come to us from the step 1. You can come to us, starting the step 3 or even 2, or some students or advisees even come into us when they already got accepted, because they only need guidance on maybe what to do next after they got accepted, right? So there's no rules with us. You can come to us anytime. But if you're planning to receive guidance or our service that helps you with the step 3, which is the most extensive service that we can provide you, we encourage you to come in a lot earlier than other advisees. If you could, at least 1 year before your deadline of your application, okay? So I will go very briefly on the steps, just so that you know what can we provide in each of the steps, okay? The step 1 is researching for your options. This means researching on the program that is what you're looking for, the university that you are trying to apply to, based on the program that you're trying to get or the degree that you're trying to get in the States. If you're confused, you can shortlist them and then come to us to discuss things, but we are not able to give you names of university for you to apply to, because then we don't know if that is your best interest or you're just following what we are telling you to do, okay? What we want is you know what you want, and we help you to get what you want, okay? Step 2, finance your studies. So this is what we will talk about today. Basically, we are covering the whole step 2 today, which is talking about what kind of funding opportunities you have, and then what do you need, how much you need, and how to proceed on that. Okay. Step 3 is completing your application. This is where you can come to us, EducationUSA advisors, for essay review, CV review, and if you have any questions on letter of recommendations, GRE, GMAT, any requirements that is being requested or listed for the program that you want to apply to, okay? If we don't have the answer for you, we will be able to tell you where you can get your answer. So that's that. Step 4 is applying for your student visa. This is when you already got accepted to at least one university and decided to attend that specific program in university. You will be given a certain document that allows you to apply for student visa, right? And then after that, we will guide you on the step-by-step on how you can apply for the student visa, and if you have any more questions that we can help you answer, okay? Lastly, it's a pre-departure orientation. It is basically an annual event of pre-departure orientation. We invite the alumni, the current student, and all of the accepted students who are going for that year of fall enrollment. But all of our events are open for public and free. So if you are still considering to go, you haven't got accepted, you are still welcome to join the pre-departure orientation, just to network and just to find out why these people want to go to the United States, right? So you can definitely still come to the pre-departure orientation and see what kind of things that we can offer to our advisees, even if they are already getting accepted and going to the States very soon. Okay, so this is all of the steps. And okay, let's dive into the scholarship or fellowship. A lot of people will ask the question, what is the difference between the scholarship or fellowship, right? Well, they are basically both under financial aid. If you're going to the US University website, official websites, they will be under this financial aid terms. And they are actually interchangeable terms, meaning I'll use bahasa Indonesia here. Jadi dua kata ini tuh bergantian dan sebenarnya artinya itu bukan beda. They could mean a different thing, but they leads to the same thing, which is giving you funding for your study. Okay? Bedanya di mana? Nanti kita discuss. But the main difference will be scholarship is just, it's given to you without you needing to do anything in return for them, for the school. So that's that. You just got the grant and that's it. But for fellowship, most of the time, It's usually under things like assistantship, so you have to reach certain expectations that they agree you to do in return of the grant that is given. For example, teaching or research assistantship, you have to dedicate your time, right, on how many hours that they are planning to have you to do the assistantship, and then you will get the grant under the fellowship category. Okay? Hope that's clear. Types of scholarship or fellowship. So there are a few here. Actually, there are more than this, but these are the general ones that we can talk about today. They have need-based, merit-based, category-based, fully funded, and partial. They're not necessarily always just one, or like one scholarship will only belong to one type of this. Listed here, some of the scholarship can fall under two things here. It can be partial, it can be category based too, right? But usually, fully funded scholarship is just independent because it's just fully funded scholarship. So we'll talk more about the types here. So need based is basically they evaluate you on how much you need the funding, meaning you will have to show them that you really, really need the funding, and this is how much I need it by. And that goes to specific dollar amount, okay? And they will require you to submit documents to show that you need that certain amount to attend the school or the program that you are applying to, okay? Merit-based is basically just your whole application. So your grades, your application documents, your essay, CV, resume, GRE, GMAT, or if you are applying for undergrad, SAT, ACT, TOEFL, IELTS, you name it. So everything that you submit as who you are in your application profile is being considered for the merit base. How competitive your profile against the rest of the applicants and how much funding they have will determine how much merit-based scholarship that they can give to you. Okay, so there's no fixed amount, but the most detailed information that you can find on their website is usually they will tell you the range, ranging between say $5,000 to $10,000 or something like that. So usually they will share the range of funding or scholarship, merit-based scholarship that they can give to a student, but they will not specify how much fixed for each student that they will give, okay? Category-based. So it's as simple as there are scholarships that's only given or being eligible for a certain group of people or profession even. So there are women's scholarships in the States, very, very, very interesting. They have specific STEM designated scholarships. They have specific Asian student scholarship, things like that. So it's based on that category. Some of them even for veterans. So it's really, really specific to certain category, and it is really up to the sponsors or the university who make that funding. Okay. Fully funded. No need explanation. It's just fully funding, and usually it covers your living costs as well. And we can talk more about the most or two main fully funding scholarship in Indonesia or for Indonesian students who wants to go to the States in our next slides, okay? Partial, it's also very self-explanatory, meaning it will not fully cover your whole tuition fee or your cost of living in the States. This means you need to come up with the rest or the remaining that you need to cover, okay? All right, so anyone here is interested for the bachelor degree or the undergraduate? Nope. Are we seeing anyone online for that? Nope. maybe no. But just in case anyone is watching and interested, or watching out for your relatives or your friends who want to apply for the bachelor, here it is. Unfortunately, for the bachelor degree in the States for international students, we have a very, very limited number of opportunities for the scholarship. I'm going to be very honest here. It is very challenging to get the need-based scholarship because you have to fill in the CSS or the FAFSA. And you have, like I said, you have to prove to them that this is how much you need, right? And that's under the condition if they want you or accept you. Then they will see if they can provide you with the funding that you need, which is the need-based scholarship. You have to submit a proof of your tax or of your sponsor, which is usually your parents if you're applying for undergrad. Proof of income, proof of tax, and everything else into that CSS or FAFSA that you can use. Okay, merit-based. Most of the merit-based scholarship for a bachelor degree and a lot for master degree as well is going to be automatically. So if you read on their official website, it usually states if you submit your application by certain date that they put there, you will be automatically considered for merit-based scholarship. Meaning if you submit after the date that they mentioned there, you probably will not get any merit-based scholarship. So if you are applying, if you are looking for merit-based scholarship, which is usually partial, you need to follow that. Okay? So look at the deadline. Some of them even have merit-based scholarship, but not automatically. So you have to look for the opportunity and then apply according to the details of the scholarship itself. Okay? All right. Fully funding scholarship for bachelor degree. These days, we have Lpdp, Indonesian Fund for Education, Endowment Fund for Education. It just really started very recently for undergraduate and for Indonesian students who wants to study bachelor degree or undergraduate in the States or outside of Indonesia. It just started recently, and it is quite challenging to find the information. So I would recommend you to spend more time to find out if you're interested. And for fully funding scholarship, we also have a very few U.S. universities offering that. I do have only 3 universities on top of my mind: Wesleyan, Boston University, and Berea College. So you can search them up if your goal is to have a full funding scholarship, and you can see if those schools have the program that you want. And of course, every scholarship is challenging. Okay, so you do not want to think about, how hard will it be to get this and that scholarship, because all scholarship will be challenging. And thinking of the probability for you to get certain scholarship will only make you, I think, overthink and not focusing on the right thing, which is giving your best application for the scholarship itself. Okay. All right. For partial scholarship, it varies. Like I said, like women scholarship, diversity or transfer student scholarship. Usually, it's a few $1,000. That's applicable to your tuition fee. So most scholarships, except the fully funded ones, only applicable to your tuition fee deduction. So if you say I got $20,000 scholarship, which is partial, it will only be applicable to your tuition fee. So your tuition fee will be deducted by 20,000. And usually they will divide it into different terms or semester. So it really depends on the school's system on that. Okay? And for fully funding, of course, it covers, like I said, it's all of the cost of your attendance, meaning your living cost as well. All right, moving to master degree and PhD. I think most of you here because of this. Most of you who are here or online are looking forward to this one. So there are actually more opportunities for master's degree and PhD applicants, international student applicants. For fully funding, we will talk about the Lpdp and Fulbright. And for PhD or even for master, some master programs actually also have this. They can do teaching, research, or graduate assistantship. So those fall under the fellowship that we talked about earlier. And the more research heavy or the more focused it is in the STEM field, usually they have more funding on that because most of the funding is actually allocated for the research section or things like that. The program that the school and the government wants to focus on. Okay. All right. Yeah, for PhD, it's more common to have the assistantships compared to the masters. But recently, I've also seen master applicants or advisees who are applying for the master program got kind of assistantships. So it's very interesting to see. It really depends on how you research those opportunity based on the program that you're looking for. Okay. All right. So here are my tips to apply. I will give you a few seconds to skim them through and I'll go through them. Okay, I think I have 15 minutes left. So for Lpdp, you can go to their official website. I tried to go to their official website here before, hosting this event. And they actually improve a lot from time to time. And if you go to their website right now, at least from the mobile version, not from the web version, you can see that they have a countdown. Very interesting. So, pendaftaran beasiswa Lpdp 2022 tahap 2 dibuka 84 days, 4 hours, 32 minutes. So that way you know how much time left for you to prepare if you want to apply for Lpdp, right? So yes, go to the official website, including the university. We always want to refer to the official websites and source, especially for scholarship. We don't want to go to third party who ask you to pay certain amount just to get this and that scholarship opportunities. We have to be very careful if they ask for any payment. Okay, that's the first flag that you have to look out for. If they ask for any payment just to apply for a certain scholarship, you need to double check with the university if they are affiliated, if they're official, okay? If they're legit, actually. You can also go to their social media, Lpdp_RI. I think they mention, no, it's not mentioned. They put out an announcement there every time they open the scholarship application. Okay, so it's helpful if you're more into social media, not going back and forth to the website, then following or keeping track from their social media will help you a lot. For Fulbright, you need to go to aminef.or.id, and they have a specific tab for Fulbright. They can support master and PhD. Unfortunately, not for undergraduate. And then next, you need to, after researching two of the most common fully funding scholarship in Indonesia for Indonesian students, you need to make a comparison which one is for you. Of course, some students will come to me and ask me questions like, can I apply to both? Then the answer will be yes. Nobody is going to restrict you from applying to both, except maybe if you read the small print on each of the scholarship provider. They will of course tell you you're not allowed to, but they both usually have different deadlines, right? And if you are not sure yet which one you have better chance at, then you can actually try. Okay. What else? Yeah, you need to start planning or preparing early. Like I said, at least 1 year before, if you can. A lot of people do not have the luxury to have that much time to prepare. Most of you guys are very busy, young professionals or professionals or teachers, lecturers, and I really appreciate that you come to us like a few months before to work things out with us. So yes, It's fine if you don't at if right now you don't have a year, you are still welcome to see us. Um, our only limitations is if you only have a few weeks left. Unfortunately, we do not have enough um, time to help you if you only have like a few days, few weeks left. Okay. Read the FAQ. Each of the website will provide you with the FAQ on the general questions that a lot of people ask. So you cannot you can save your time. No need to email them on those questions because that's already in the FAQ. Okay. Always read the FAQ, understand their system, and of course, if you already understand the Lpdp system and the Fulbright system, you will know that they have kind of the opposite system that we will talk about later. Okay? Make your own timeline, track your progress to complete the application. And we are talking about the scholarship application. Okay? This is a separate application than the university application. So yeah, this is only for the scholarship application. And by starting early, you will be able to create a strategy which one to prioritize first. So if your deadline between the scholarship deadline and the university deadline, if the scholarship deadline comes first, then you can apply for the university later with or without the scholarship, and you can go for the PTUD, which requires the LOA. So everything's fine, right? So things like that. You want to map out those things. And also, if you realize Lpdp have 2 batch per year, at least for the general or regular one. So the deadline is usually no, sorry, the timeline usually doesn't match the deadline for U.S. universities. So you will have to see how much time you actually have if you get this and that scholarship from Lpdp, from which batch, okay? All right, next one, submit most updated profile or documents. You don't want to submit your 2 years old CV or resume for this scholarship application because we just want to give our best application, right? The most updated one, the most high profile one that you can give from where you are. So don't be pessimistic about, oh, I'm only, I only work here, I only have 1 year working experience. I won't get accepted anyway. So, yeah, don't think that way because we never actually know if our profile actually stands out, if the scholarship committee actually is looking for someone like you who is focusing on this cause, focusing on this topic, and want to make these changes, that changes, and then making this kind of impact to Indonesia. Okay. Last one, use English in your essays if you're applying to United States. Why? Because it only makes sense, right? If you want to go to the US and you write your essays in Bahasa Indonesia, the first question the committee will have is, are you ready with your English to go to the United States, right? That is the natural response when someone is looking at your application. And the same goes if you come to us for advising session, and we will not naturally try to talk to you with English because we want to see if you are brave enough to speak in English regardless of the language barrier, regardless of if you think my English is bad, I have accent, I'm shy, we just want you to kind of practice and for free. So that helps everyone to see that, oh, if I want to go to the States, I have to get out of my maybe comfort zone of not speaking in English, right? Because my English is bad. You have to get out of that and, of course, show your capability in the English proficiency level first, because that is the basic of how you can survive in the States, right? And it goes very strongly with the university application. If you have done your research, you will know they put a minimum score for the TOEFL IBT and the IELTS, but they don't really put GPA, which minimum GPA you need. And that shows the importance of your English proficiency, skills, and score. Okay? All right. All good for here. And this is a table comparison, a very simple one. Of course, we have more items, but I think this is the most important things that you need to know in the general level. Okay? So Lpdp have, okay, my bad. It's supposed to be 4. General, which we call regular, targeted, affirmative, and which we call afirmasi. Collaborative is what I just researched. It's collaboration between the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology on their website. Okay, and they have different categories depending on your. It depends on your line of work. So lecturers versus maybe researcher and everything like that. Okay. And for Fulbright, there's no other pathway for the master and each of the master and the PhD. It's just master and then PhD. You cannot choose between, you want the regular, targeted, or affirmative. They don't have it. They just have one pathway for each level of study. And Lpdp, of course, allows the awardee to go to US and other countries than the US. Fulbright specifically only to the States. And it is funded by the American government, so it only makes sense. And for Lpdp, it is from the Indonesian government. For Lpdp also, you can choose to apply with or without LOA. If you already know, the Lpdp have what they call PTUD, Peringkat Tinggi Utama Dunia. Those comes with the requirement of you having the letter of acceptance. It's LOA, letter of acceptance, from the university that they listed there. Okay, very specific. And only a very few number of universities are in the PTUD. Okay. For Fulbright, you don't need LOA. And if you have LOA, it probably will not help you because their system is just different. Okay. Lpdp, you will need to choose from their university list when applying. And this is why when you come to us for advising session, I will ask you this question. What is your constraint? What is your priority? If you know you will only go to the States to, pursue your master or PhD by using Lpdp scholarship, that's the only way you can, go to the States to study the program that you want, then there's no other way than following what the Lpdp will support, aka the university list. Okay, you don't want to research for a program that you want to apply for, but at the end of the day, it's not included in the Lpdp list. Okay, that's going to be just not a strategy unless if you research on that program, that university have other means of funding. So not Lpdp, but maybe they have their own assistantship or fellowship program. Then that will be a good backup plan, okay? For Fulbright, we do not want the awardees to be, it's good if you have a target, if you're applying for Fulbright, like target university that you want to go to. But please know that if you become a Fulbrighter, meaning you get the Fulbright scholarship, you got selected, they will be the one who give you recommendations of the universities, okay? And then if you want to say, you want to try to see if the university that you want is allowed by them, or they can support you to go there, you can try to appeal, and that is a separate process on its own. So you can try, but there's no guarantee that you will go to the university that you want to go after you get Fulbright, okay? So that is the risk involved in applying to each or both of this scholarship. And then Lpdp do have online application, but Fulbright will be a hard copy. Still, you will have to mail the hard copy printed version to the address that's listed on the aminef.or.id website. Before I forget, Since both of these scholarship are sponsored by respective government, what they're looking for is how well you will contribute to the country when you're back. Because essentially you are asking the Indonesian government and the American government to sponsor you to study, and then what they want to see is how are you going to give it back to the Indonesian community environment, okay? And the same goes for Fulbright, because this is Fulbright for Indonesian students, meaning you will come back to Indonesia. That's in the contract. For Lpdp, it is self-explanatory. You have to come back to Indonesia because it's from the Indonesian government funding. Okay? Let me think about what else. Oh, okay. I don't put the deadline here, but for Lpdp, like we discussed before, they have two batch per year. For Fulbright, one batch per year, and the deadline is usually somewhere in February. So Fulbright is every February, and then for Lpdp, it's actually very interesting because I'm looking at, let's see, if you scroll down to the details, they do have the details of the batch, I think. And it's nice to see this one because it can help you look at your own deadline, okay? Let me scroll up with this. Okay, so it says perkuliahan paling cepat. So if you go to their official website for Lpdp, seleksi beasiswa tahap 1 diberlakukan untuk perkuliahan paling cepat bulan Agustus 2022. Seleksi beasiswa tahap 2 diberlakukan untuk perkuliahan paling cepat bulan Januari 2023. So in the US, the most common enrollment is fall. Fall classes starts end of August or early September. So that means untuk tahap 1 akan kayak terlalu dekat dengan perkuliahan paling cepatnya. That's what I mean when I said the timeline doesn't really match, you know. So if you get beasiswa tahap 1, then you probably will be able to go for the spring, which usually starts in January. Spring starts March, around March. Winter, if any of the school that you want to go have winter enrollment, which is very rare, but you can, right? So what I mean here is knowing the deadlines or the timeline will help you a lot. Dan setahu aku sekalinya dapat, kamu punya waktu lumayan lama untuk mendapatkan letter of acceptance. So that also helps you to see, okay, if I got letter of acceptance and I haven't got scholarship, what do I do? If I got scholarship and I haven't got letter of acceptance, what do I do? Okay? If you know the timeline, if you know the system, you can map out those things and it will really, really help you to save a lot of confusion at the end of the day. Okay? So in the very bottom, I put return to Indonesia upon completion of the program, and the amount of years that you need to dedicate will be usually specified on their website, so you can just find out. All right, so how to find more? We talk about, those fully funding scholarship, but of course, there are more than just fully funding scholarship. If you only need partial scholarship, then you don't need to focus on the fully funding scholarship one, right? So to find more scholarship opportunity, you can go to, of course, Google very easily. The university name or the program name that you want, and then the university name, and then just add scholarship. And usually you will be having results of the financial aid office of the university or the specific program that you're looking for in that university. So that's kind of like the shortcut to find out if the program that you want have teaching or research assistantship, if they have any scholarship for international student like me. Okay, that's a short. That's the shortcut, and this is only one combination of keywords. You can use different keywords. I actually tried last night with the different keywords, and I'm led to a different result, which is amazing. So I typed in also external scholarship, United States master degree, and I have so many results from universities who officially mention different types of scholarship externally. If you find external scholarship on their official university website, that means that scholarship that's being listed, even though it's external, it is legit. Okay, so you don't have to worry about if this is a scam, if this is accepted to to be used to study. If let's say if you get external scholarship A, can I use this scholarship to study in university B? Because that's the natural question that you will have, right? But if you find this external scholarship name on the website of the university as listed external scholarship, that means they kind of already support you to apply to that external scholarship, right? So that helps. And then always, again, university's official website, find financial aid or scholarship tabs or funding. But if it's too hard for you to navigate, because most, if not all, of the US university website have so many information, go back to Google and just Google the university, the program, and then just type financial aid or scholarship, and then you can add in international student, okay? Because sometimes what you will find is for US citizens, which means you are not eligible to apply for, okay? Um, Again, look at the requirements, US citizens or permanent residents or in-state. Those terms means it's not for international students, okay? No matter how easy the requirements is, unfortunately, you will not qualify unless you have any of those 3 items there. Lastly, you can contact the university's financial aid office via their email that's provided on the website, usually .edu extension for the email. So that's the official email for their financial aid offices and universities. So you can introduce yourself. My name is, Santika. I am one of the EducationUSA advisors in Jakarta. I am looking forward to apply or very interested to apply to this program in a university. I wonder if there's any international student scholarship opportunities for me that I can apply for. The plan is to apply for, maybe fall 2023. So send that, and most of the time you will get a reply. But my tips will be, if you cannot find anything on their official website, that's when you go for the email. Most of the time you will find some details on the website, but if it's not clear, you can come to us, me or Christina, or any other EducationUSA's advisor. And if we also got confused, then you can email them and put the link there. Like, I see on your website that you mentioned this and that opportunity. I have some questions about that being this and that. So we want to show them that we have done our homework or research before going to the email, just asking for answers, okay? All right, so other resources. These are websites that you can go to see if there's any funding or scholarship or fellowship opportunities. These are good ones, meaning I have went to their websites, and one of them, actually one of my advisees, got fully funding scholarship for his PhD after looking at the vacancy in one of those websites, on one of those websites, and that is why I put it there. Okay. So if you see a website that's with the extension of .org, Um, they are organizations, and it means that they are not like, not everybody can make that kind of website. So they're probably or most likely more reliable and most likely nonprofit in a way. So you can kind of see, starting from these websites, see if there's any overlapping interests and opportunities that you can try to apply for. Okay? Fundingusstudy.org, gograd.org, efa.org, nature.com slash nature careers. I think you can just go to nature.com and then click for the careers. And then for external scholarship, we talked about this previously. I'm giving you an example here. I took a screenshot of the website from one of the US university, Purdue. That's on their website. It's funding your graduate study. And then they list different, external scholarship there and for you to click on, right? So that means they're actually, hey, if you need scholarship, you can also try to see, try to look here and here and here, okay? And of course, like I mentioned before, please be careful of third-party information, meaning they are not on the official university website, and they are, not organization. They're like forums or just discussion page or blogs. You need to be careful, and especially if anything that has to do with paying upfront. So it's like, oh, you can pay for this membership and then get this scholarship and blah blah blah. You need to be careful and really double check. You know, if you really need those things in the first place. I mean, even if you pay for the membership and then you got scholarship, do you really need those things? You need to ask that kind of questions before you sign up, because even if you pay and then if you really get the scholarship, are you able to use the scholarship? That's the big question, right? Otherwise, then you're just using that budget that you can use to apply to other university for something that you won't even be able to use at the end. And for budgeting for application fees, I think that's on separate topic. But just very briefly, please know that there are some schools that have application fee waiver. So if you're applying to multiple US universities, which is what we always recommend, you don't have to think that you have to spend so much money, because if you can get one or two application fee waiver, you can save a few $100 usually. Okay? All right. All right, I'm done with my presentation and I'm going for the Q&A section. And let me check if we have a lot of questions online. We do have a few. And I'm going to call up my colleague, Christina. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Santika.
Hi, thank you so much for helping everyone in the Zoom and in the chat box. I actually didn't get to enter the chat box yet. But yeah, I'm looking at a few questions.
Mm-hmm. So far,
So-
we haven't gotten any questions in Zoom, but we have a lot from Instagram and YouTube.
Sorry, I can't really hear
Oh.
you clearly.
Oh, we don't have much question from Zoom,
Okay.
but we have a lot from Instagram and YouTube.
Wow. Okay, that's new. Thank you, everyone who is watching from Instagram. So, okay, good question. But okay, let me open this up. If you're here tonight, if you have questions, we will also help you answer your questions here, and our team will pass you the microphone like this, so that you can ask your questions directly to me here. Okay. So I'm going for the first question first. I hope Rebecca is still watching from Instagram. The question is, how many scholarship can I apply for? And just like I said, actually, there's no limitation on how many scholarship you can apply for, except if they are like overlapping towards each other. So if you already got one fully funding scholarship, most of the time you will not be able to add more scholarship to combine. meaning applying more than that will not help you. Okay? So really depends. Partial scholarship usually do not limit anyone to, you cannot, combine this scholarship with anything else unless it's stated there. Then that is your limitations of, you only can get that scholarship and you cannot get other scholarship. Unless it's not, it's stated like that for partial scholarship, it's safe to say you can apply and get multiple partial scholarship. Okay? Okay, maybe Christina want to read the next question?
Yes, sure. So the next one we have from Kina. Can I get scholarships if I took a break from school?
Good question. So unless that is being required in the application, then you don't have to worry.
All right. On to
That
the
means,
next.
sorry, I'll elaborate a bit more. I think that's going to be confusing. So if, the scholarship usually have requirements listed just like any other application for the university, for the scholarship. If they say, you have to be certain age maximum, you have to have minimum GPA of, 3 point something, then that's the requirement. But usually I never see that they put a requirement that you cannot have a gap year. That's what they call. That's the term that's very common in the States. If you take a break from, if you finish high school, you don't go for the university directly. You have like 1 year, half year gap. It's called gap year. So yeah, that's if that's the break that you mean. If that's not in the requirement, if it doesn't collide with the requirement of the age requirement, I don't see why not. Okay?
The next one is from Lulu. How do I tell if a scholarship is legitimate?
Okay, I'm going to say the first one is if they require you to pay for anything. Okay? So if they tell you, congratulations, you got full funding scholarship to this university. All you need to do is to pay for the, I don't know, confirmation or deposit of this much. Then that's the first flag of it's not legit. Okay? And if you want to be sure it's legitimate, as we have discussed in the presentation, make sure it's from the official university website. At least they're listed on the external scholarship list there. And if they are from websites that are reputable, like organizations, nonprofit organizations, EFA or Funding US Study, and then what else? Nature.com, things like that. That's how you can tell they're legit, because all of those, websites that I mentioned, never see them asking for any payment for any scholarship application. Okay? All right. Wait, before we continue for the online questions, we have quite a number of audience in person. Thank you for attending tonight's session. I'm so happy to have all of you back here. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, then I will allocate time to answer your question instead of going through all of the online questions. Anyone? Just raise your hand. Our team will come to you and we will call you up once it's your turn. Okay, we have one. Do we have any there? I don't see any hands. Okay, so we have one here. Please hang on. We will go to you once we are halfway with the online question, I hope. All right, let's move to the next one.
This one is from Reno from UGM. I would like to know if there is any opportunity for scholarship awardee to work and live in United States besides Lpdp and Fulbright. Do you have other alternatives that provide at least work experience?
So the one that we mentioned, the fellowship, if it's research or teaching or graduate assistantship, that means you will work to do those. specific things. If it's research assistantship that you got, then you will do research for a maximum of 20 hours per week under your international student visa. So that can count as work, okay? But usually you cannot get those fellowship under Lpdp or Fulbright because they are like, they're just a different system and different sponsors. Unless the Lpdp or Fulbright is okay that you do assistantship like that, then it's fine. So everything that you want to do that's leading to income or covering your tuition fee or your living cost there, scholarship or fellowship or work on campus, if you are an Lpdp or Fulbright awardee, you need to get the permission. If they permit you, then you can. Okay? As simple as that.
On to the next one from Nina. Where can I consult to search for US scholarships?
You can come to us, definitely, but I don't know what time you were asking the question because we went through a lot of things today on how you can search for those opportunities. If you have done those steps, went to those websites that I mentioned earlier, and you're confused or you want to follow up on more questions, you can book an appointment with us, and I will be very happy to help you with that. And I'm back here on how to make the appointment to meet any of us. Okay?
Right. Next question is from Michelle. Di Papua ada 3 juta penduduk. Apakah saya bisa tembus LPDP?
Good question. So Lpdp, they have different categories, right? Kalau aku nggak salah, ada yang khusus untuk bagian Indonesia Timur, and I think Papua is included. So if you are asking me how to increase your chance to get Lpdp scholarship at, with where you are, based on your background and everything, I always say if you are eligible to apply for Lpdp scholarship outside of the general one, meaning other categories, please do consider. Okay? So that will increase your chance because the pool is actually smaller compared to the general one, compared to the regular one that we usually see people apply. Okay? What if candidate already has one LOA? Okay, so the next question is coming from Rahmat, ya? Christina?
Yes.
Okay.
From Rahmat, what if a candidate already has one LOA from the United States when they are applying for the Fulbright scholarship because he or she wants to use it for Lpdp?
Well, it's fair if you want to see which one will get what you really want. And hopefully you will get to choose at the end of the day. But if that's the case, again, Fulbright do not require letter of acceptance from any US universities for you to apply and get the Fulbright scholarship in the first place. So it doesn't affect your Fulbright application. And if you got the Fulbright and you want to go to that university that you have LOA, you will just have to appeal to them. Like, I got this letter of acceptance from this and that university for this program. Will Fulbright be able to support me to go there? And that's a separate discussion and process with Fulbright committee. So yeah, it's not a requirement. So you can. So what was the question again? Yeah, so it's not a problem, right? Because the question is, what if a candidate already have LOA? It's not a problem, but whether or not you will be able to go to the school, the school that you have LOA from, is a separate consideration from Fulbright. Okay?
All right. For the next one, we have question from Chitra. What are the chances of getting a fully funded scholarship if you are a resident?
You mean US resident? If you are a US resident, I think you actually have a lot more to search. I mean, a lot more opportunities, hopefully, depending on the school that you are applying to, and the funding opportunities, of course. So yeah, you can search for, and it's actually removing the limitations of what I said. Like if you want to apply for a scholarship, but it says you have to be U.S. citizen, resident or green card holder, or in-state residents. Then if you are already a resident, then you can apply for those ones. Okay, but Indonesian students could not do that. Okay. Let's move on to next one.
Moving on to Vita. Is there any age limitation to apply for scholarship? Any scholarship recommendation if you're above 32 years old?
Okay, I think Lpdp have age limit, but Fulbright, I don't think they have any. What they put on the website, last time I checked for Fulbright, it's your more on your retirement age, meaning they're expecting if you're back as a Fulbrighter, finished your study in the States, you're back to Indonesia, you still have, time to contribute back. And it only makes sense because they are sponsoring you to study to, bring in greater value. So for Lpdp, I'm not that clear because it depends on your age, but this is what I found. For master, the age limit is 35. So I think you haven't exceeded the limit if you're applying for master. And for PhD, the limit is 40 years old for Lpdp. Okay? So like I said, go to their official website and find out the requirements or the FAQ. Go through that. And if you have more questions or you need tips on how to, other things that how to complete the application and strategize, we are here for you. Okay, moving to Randy.
This one is actually an interesting question.
Which
From
one?
Randy.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for someone who is applying for those scholarships from overseas? Especially for Lpdp and Fulbright. I'm Indonesian but living in Japan.
Again, I don't see that the requirement states you have to be in Indonesia, unless maybe you're attending for, if you got selected for the interview rounds and you have to attend the interview in person, then maybe you need to fly back. and yeah, so a lot of these things is actually, if it's not, if it's not in the requirement, for example, if your concern is you are in Japan, if they don't say, if the requirement doesn't state you have to, have a record of staying in Indonesia for the last 5 years, then you don't have to worry about, where you are in the last 5 years, right? So yes, you can still apply following the deadline and everything according to the time that has been set by the Lpdp in Indonesia and the Fulbright in here. Okay?
And this one is from Anissa. Besides Lpdp and Fulbright scholarship, is there any opportunity for only Indonesian student in some university to receive a scholarship to minimize the competitor from other country?
Okay, I'm not looking, I don't see the question here, but I guess I'll just answer that. That's a very good question. So I've heard before, and this is a very interesting case because we actually never know what kind of funding opportunity the university or the scholarship opportunity the university actually have. Usually they will only put out what they feel like putting out on the website. But if you, like I said, if you go to their website and then you see only 1 or 2 scholarship and you're not eligible, and then you email them introducing yourself, you are Indonesian, and you wonder if you have any scholarship for me or, international students like me, what are the chances the university have a scholarship that is dedicated, or the eligibility or the requirement being you are an Indonesian? So that happened before. So there's actually specific scholarship for Indonesians only, and the student applied and the student got it. So you don't know until you ask if they have it or not. And we will not know unless we ask if they have it or not. That's the problem. But what they will not do is putting it out there on the website, because it's very specific, and the availability of the funding is basically depending on how much they have and everything. So I don't think it's wise of them to put it out there, especially for, such a specific requirement. Okay? So yes, there are scholarship like that in the past, but you will have to seek them out. And there's also scholarship that's not really scholarship, but it's kind of like a collaborative funding or fellowship, if you may call it, from a specific institution, maybe from where you are working, or from your university if you're still studying in a university, with a U.S. university. So in the past, I've seen this is especially more common in specific science fields. So in the past, I've seen BMKG working with one of the U.S. universities for the oceanography aspect. So yeah, things like that happens. You just need to find out if the field, the program that you want, have it or not. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So okay, let's go for. I don't see much for online questions.
We only have 2 more for
Okay.
online questions.
So, all right, let's finish that too, and then go for our in-person audience to wrap things up. Okay.
And the next one is from Rahmat.
Mhm.
As mentioned before, it would be better to apply for university with application fee waiver. Is there any organization in US for multiple university applications, or we as the applicant need to apply for the application fee waiver from each university?
Okay, this is a good question, but I want to highlight that it is not necessarily better to apply to schools with application fee waiver. It is better if the school have the program that you want. Of course, you don't want to apply to school that doesn't have the program that you want, even though they are waiving the application fee, okay? So it's not necessarily better. It's just if they have the program that you want and you like maybe the university and everything else adds up, then they are waiving the application fee, then that's better, right? And also, multiple application for the waiver. For such website or organization, so far I haven't stumbled into one, because especially for master and PhD applicants, you have to go directly to each of the university because they have separate portals. Application portal from each university will be different. If you're applying for undergraduate or bachelor degree, what they do is usually multiple university application for the university. That's called Common App. Okay, so it's a different thing. It's not the application fee application for the waiver. Unfortunately, for the waiver, you need to be very diligent in putting your effort and time to apply for the waiver, if there's any. Okay. All right, last question from our online audience tonight.
It's from Utami. If I want to apply scholarship for a master degree in education, what major should I choose? And is there any scholarship for that?
Okay, Utami. So a good question, but this is a question that can only be answered by yourself once you have done a very deep reflection of what kind of career you want to have. by taking this master degree. Okay? So we don't have the answer for you because we cannot recommend you to certain program in education. Education itself is still very broad. These days we have adult learning, we have early childhood education, we have, I don't know, a lot of things, okay? So you need to explore what education programs have to offer in the States and see which one you are more interested in. If you see your future doing those things, the career path looks like, what you want to do, and if it suits your goal. Okay? So you need to research further and then come to us once you kind of have an idea of what you want to focus on in education, and we can talk more. Okay? All right, let's move to the in person question. Hi, can I get your name?
Hi, Kak Santika.
Hi.
My name is Lala.
Hi, Lala.
I have actually this is two questions, but I will wrap it in one question.
Okay.
As far as I understand, the major list on Lpdp, university, and Fulbright. I think Fulbright give us more freedom to choose our major, and in this case, the major I want to apply, and then how Fulbright help and recommend us to choose the university if we already have a choice of university and major, and are they going to consider our choice? And then last is, what is their consideration to choosing the best university and major to recommend us as a Fulbrighter?
All right.
Thank you.
So thank you, Lala, for the question. Those are great. And like I said, so Fulbright have their own process. So if you go to them, I want to study program A in University B in the States, instead of the recommendations you gave to me, they will of course ask you a series of questions of why, all right? Why you choose the program, why that school, and of course you need to be very fluent in making comparisons with what you want versus what they recommend to you that you don't see fit. And based on that, I think they will be able to make a judgment of, okay, we are going to support you, okay, or sorry, but we don't see, you know, you're fitting there, or blah blah blah, whatever language they will use. But it's a separate process, and there's no way for us to know for sure because it's really case by case. So one of my advisee can, tell me that they go back and forth with this appeal of she wants to go to this university. Fulbright says, we recommend you to that university. And then they go back and forth, right? And I have no idea what the conversations looks like because I think that's really private. And it's really case by case. In the worst case scenario, if you cannot find the middle ground of the discussion and the appeal, one side will have to let go, right? So that makes me always tell my advisees or anyone who wants to study to the States, have a backup plan. Okay? So in this scenario that you tell me, the backup plan can look like, okay, if the university that I have LOA from have any funding opportunity, right? So then you don't have to rely on other scholarship, but from the university. Okay? Am I answering your question? Okay. If you want to discuss further on this, we do have actually maybe other, discussion along that line on if you become a Fulbrighter, what will happen and entails with the appeal. You can come for an advising session. You can just book the 30 minutes to talk deeper on that. Because of course, because this is public and it's recorded, there are things that, of course, I cannot disclose on public level. Okay? All right. Thank you. And let's go back to the online questions. In the university that you want to apply to have the scholarship opportunities, or what they usually call fellowship or assistantship. And if they have it, you need to kind of tell the university or the program coordinator or the professor that you want to work with that you're interested. Okay? Bahasa Indonesianya siapa cepat dia dapat sih. Karena untuk assistantship posisi kayak asdos, asisten dosen, itu kan kalian kalau tahu satu angkatan itu kan nggak akan banyak kan asisten dosennya. Jadi kalau kalian lihat ada kesempatan untuk jadi asisten, ya kalau kamu keduluan sama orang lain, ya kamu nggak akan dapet. So that makes the whole, putting more time to plan make sense. Kalau kamu mau apply-nya udah kayak sisa 2 bulan deadline-nya, kemungkinan besar si assistantship itu kan udah keisi posisinya. Karena sisa 2 bulan udah mau mulai enrollment-nya, udah mau mulai term-nya gitu kan. Tapi kalau kamu lihat posisi itu ada dan kamu mau apply-nya buat tahun depan, kamu kan bisa dari sekarang show the interest that I want to apply for this assistantship position. You can tell the professor and you can see what's on the website if there's any email to ask questions. Most of the time they will not tell you how to apply for it. They will just tell you that there's this assistantship thing. And if you have more questions, you can email here most of the time. So what you do is you email them that, introduce yourself, of course, again, and say that you're interested and how to apply, how to be more competitive to get this position. What does this cover? Kalau nggak di website yang nggak ada tulisan di cover berapa persen tuition fee waiver, nggak ditulis berapa stipendnya, it's good to ask, right? So you know if this is full or this is partial. How much do I have to cover if it's partial? The thing with teaching, research, graduate assistantship or fellowship, they vary from one to another. So it's not a guarantee that they will be 100% tuition fee waiver. Some of them goes from 30 to 50 to 70 to 80% tuition fee waiver plus stipend. Stipend itu biaya hidup di situ, tapi itu based on the minimum living cost, average minimum living cost di situ. And then that's determined by, of course, the university who have the funding. Then that means, yaitu kalau misalnya kamu dapatnya yang 70%, 70% tuition fee waiver plus the stipend. And then ada spesifiknya dong, kayak berapa dan berapa. Setelah kamu hitung-hitung, oh I need to cover this much. Now, can you cover that or you need other scholarship? If you need other scholarship, then you can go back to them and ask them, I've done my calculations. Unfortunately, I'm short this much. Do you have other scholarship opportunity for me that I can apply for? Or if you have any other suggestions for me on this matter. Gitu. If they really want you there and if they have the funding, they will make it happen. That's what I learned from advisee. Okay? So I hope that helps and wrap up our session today. We have 6 minutes left, and that's perfect for us to take group pictures, if you guys don't mind, because this is the first hybrid event. All right, thank you so much, everybody. It has been such a pleasure to have all of you here in person at America again, and I look forward to our next event next week, hopefully. And thank you also for our online audience for joining us from wherever you are. And remember, you can rewatch this session on our YouTube account, youtube.com/ADAmerica with double A at the back. And you can rewatch this. And if you have questions, you can come in for our advising session. And don't give up on us just because it's crowded. Of course, it's crowded because it's free, right? And then that's all from me. Thank you, Christina, for helping me today. And I'll give it back to our EdAmerica team. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you, Kak Santika, and thank you so much to everyone here in the studio. Thank you so much for your participation today. I hope that everyone gained a lot of knowledge and insights from today's event. I would also like to thank our advisors today, Kak Santika and also Kak Christina, for sharing to us your knowledge about scholarship opportunities in the United States. Now, earlier in this event, we asked audience members a trivia question, and that question was, Is it true or false? A merit-based scholarship is earned by having come from a certain background. And the correct answer to that is false. A merit-based scholarship is earned based on academic achievement or on a combination of academics and a special talent, trait, or interest. Shout out goes out to @fahrozi.13 from Instagram for answering the question correctly. And thank you so much to everyone else who has also participated on our question of the day. Now you may be wondering, how can I contribute an awesome idea for AdAmerica? It's very easy. You can go to our website on www.atamerica.or.id, and then you can select create an event and collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured with us soon. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media. We have Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook at ATAmerica. Don't forget as well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and newsletter. All right, with that, I think it is time to say goodbye. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Again, my name is Ara, and see you soon at the next AdAmerica event. Good night, everyone.